20th August 2013. Should be silly season in the news, but actually today's newspapers have some very interesting stories. Take the Times for instance. There's a headline story about criticism of NHS health checking based on a Nordic study which says that there's no empirical evidence that giving people over 40 health checks actually improves their health, or that there isn't a danger that people are receiving unnecessary treatments. Also interesting is that on the letters page of the Times there's a letter from the people who did the Nordic study criticising the British NHS for publishing criticism of their study on the NHS website without a right of reply to them. Better news in the Telegraph, and that relates to the Greek tourist industry. Apparently it's at a huge bonus. I've contributed to that. I'm happy to say I had a wonderful Greek holiday, and it's good to see that there's some improvements in the Greek economy from tourism. Less impressive in the Telegraph is an article about a dispute between the partners of the coalition, and that concerns an issue that the Department of Energy and Climate Change, which is run by Ed Davey, Liberal Democrat, has been trying to stop a report by Owen Paterson, the Conservative Environment Secretary, a report which suggests that renewable resources like wind farms can actually cause considerable damage to the rural communities. Obviously that's a subject of debate, but it's one that the public need to be informed of to have an honest and open debate. The Guardian has a very disturbing story about the detention in Heathrow under terrorism laws of the male partner of a Guardian journalist who was involved in reporting news about Edward Snowden, the person who leaked a lot of secret American government documents. Not a journalist himself, and there's a lot of inquiry about exactly why this took place, a lack of openness and transparency. There's an editorial from the Guardian editor within the newspaper where he says that the Guardian has a duty to report issues of international concern, and there's fear that what's happening here is a collaboration between the British and US governments to try and suppress this news story, and suggestions of overt intimidation by the UK government and people in Whitehall against the Guardian newspaper. So very concerning that, especially in the present climate we're in where internet censorship is being talked about. So quite a lot to interest you in the newspapers today. I still always like reading a print newspaper despite the availability of the internet. Obviously you can see these stories online too. I suggest you give them a look.